I'm Mary Berry, and in this series I'm going to be showing you some of my absolute favourites.
Not too difficult to make, not too many ingredients, and the sort of recipes that the family are going to say ooh and ah, and please can we have them again.
These favourites have been inspired by the places I love. The countryside, by the sea, markets and gardens. And of course, my home.
I'll be sharing with you some brand new ideas and some recipes that I never ever tire of.
Tonight,
You're enjoying it, aren't you, darling?
it's my favourite dishes inspired by my family. One of my joys in life is spending time with my grandchildren.
However busy I am, top priority is to have all the family round for a meal whenever I can.
And there's nothing I enjoy more than when one of the dishes becomes a family favourite. Tonight, an easy pasta dish that my grandsons cannot get enough of. A spiced lamb casserole that's a real family pleaser. Easy biscuits that are such fun for small hands to make. And a cheats pudding that they'll love every time. But first, a rice dish that's always the top of my husband's list.
My husband Paul's absolute favourite is Malaysian fried rice. He would have it every day of the week, and I bet that he'll be popping in when he smells it, because you get that wonderful aroma from all the spices. The reason why Paul likes this so much is because before I married him, he worked in Malaya, as it was then called, and I gather that he used to have it once a week, always. So when I married him, I had to look up recipes for it, and I've been making it ever since.
Start the fried rice by slicing 2 chicken breasts into strips. Season and fry on a high heat.
There is a real tendency to overcook chicken, and what I do is put some honey in the pan, and the honey makes it go golden brown in no time, because each little strip is only going to take about a minute to cook. That has been cooking fast. I'm going to turn it over now, and you've got a nice bit of brown. Look at it. That's what I wanted. Doesn't that look tempting when it's a gorgeous golden brown colour? I'm going to just tip that out on the plate.
Now for the vegetables, add 2 large chopped onions to the same pan.
I'm going to put a lid on that and let it partly fry, partly cooked.
Roughly chop a red pepper and crush 3 cloves of garlic.
Bit of brute force.
Fry for 5 minutes and then add 200 grams of sliced button mushrooms.
I can mix all those together. Now the spices that go in. I've got some mild chilli powder here, and I've got some curry powder. You can buy a mixture of Malaysian spices to make this, but I just use curry powder because that's what I've got on my shelf. So I'm going to have half a teaspoonful of mild chilli powder, and then a level tablespoonful of the curry powder. It's at this stage that if the doors are open in the house and you get that sort of spicy smell, Paul comes around the corner and just wonders what I'm up to. I wouldn't change my husband for the world, but in the kitchen, he doesn't become involved. If I'm poorly, which is so rare, he can do 2 things, boil eggs and make an excellent omelette. Now, even then we argue about the omelette, because he said his French godmother taught him to put milk in the omelette, and I always put water. So I don't think we'd be very compatible in the kitchen. I think I like being there and just having him come in to enjoy it.
I've already cooked 250 grams of long grain rice with 150 grams of frozen peas. Now it's cool, I can add it to the mix.
It'll fry and become crispy if it's cold. If it's warm, it'll be soggy. So cold rice, cold peas, give it a good fry.
Mix it all together, add 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and fry on a high heat until it's lovely and crispy. Put the chicken on the top to warm through and fry 1 egg for each person who's eating.
That's it, it's ready. Didn't take many moments. So I'm going to stir in the chicken. I know that familiar tread.
Yeah.
Have a try. I'll take mine straight from the pan. See what you think.
Delicious. This is very, very nice.
Good.
Well up to the standard, I would say.
Tuck into the rest.
Right.
And I'll pinch more from the pan.
Okay.
So I do hope that you'll have a go at home. It's our great family favourite, and I hope it'll become one of yours.
With 5 grandchildren who are always on the move, I'm never short of hungry visitors or helping hands in the kitchen. This next dish is a perfect way to get them cooking.
Pasta in our house is always the first choice for supper. They started off with pesto with pasta, and now they have much more exciting things, but this time it's going to be chicken. And as you can see, I've got a bit of help. This is Hobie and Louis, and we're all going to do it together. Wish us luck.
Start by cooking 250 grams of dried penny pasta and add 1 roughly chopped onion to the boiling salted water.
You must be wondering why I put onion in with the pasta. I find it's much easier to cook the pasta with the onion. They cook the same time rather than frying it, which sometimes it catches, sometimes it's not even tender.
While the pasta cooks, move on to the chicken. For 6 people, use 3 chicken breasts cut in 2 little strips.
If you've got a bag there, Louis, if you put 1 tablespoonful of paprika pepper in the bag first, and that makes it really, really brown and crispy. That's it. And then a little bit of pepper and salt. That's it. And then put the chicken in there, all of it. Well done. And then if you hold the top of the bag and rub until you've coated, rub it like that with your hands. That's right. That's it. Give it a good rub.
Heat 1 tablespoonful of oil and in goes the coated chicken.
Now it goes in a lump, but I'm going to divide all that up and then each piece will get brown.
While Louis chops and de-seeds 2 tomatoes, Hobie and I make a start on the white sauce. Melt 50 grams of butter and add 50 grams of plain flour.
Sprinkle it in. Now when you stir that, just like what did you make for Grandpa this morning?
Porridge.
And you were stirring it with that, so
Stirring.
left hand on the pan to steady it and just stir it to start with.
Now add 750 ml of hot milk in 2 lots.
That's right. Now would you say that was getting smooth?
Kind of.
Kind of. I think that's pretty good.
Add most of 100 grams of parmesan to the pan.
That's it, and we'll keep that for the top.
And then 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard,
So all of it or half?
Just 1 level one. That's it, in it goes. Give that a bit of a stir.
finally season, then add the cooked pasta and onion. Pour half the mix into a 3-pint buttered oven-proof dish,
Then we're going to put the chicken in. I'm going to do that in one layer like that. Then all the rest of the pasta over the top, and well done. It's not a bit burnt on the bottom. You stirred it all the time. That's it.
Sprinkle the rest of the cheese and the chopped tomatoes on top.
That's still warm, so I'm going to put it in the oven at 200 degrees fan, and it'll be all bubbling and crispy on top in about 20 minutes. How about going out and having a bit of a play till it's done?
When it's ready, leave it to cool down a bit and then dig in.
Who wants a taste?
Me.
Okay. Are you going to have some, Atalanta?
Yes.
Look at all these crunchy bits on top there. That's for you too.
Oh, I need to get that bit.
This has always been one of my favourites. I think it's going to be one of their favourites too.
There's nothing I love more than a fun and relaxed Sunday lunch. With 3 generations around the table, there's always plenty to catch up on.
Wow, what have we got here?
Mashed potato.
Mashed potato.
Family meals really mean time when everyone can stop what they're doing and just be together.
It just gives us all a chance to have a good chat, talk about what's been going on in the day, and I love it. I love weekends when we're all there too.
Tastes good. Flavour, yes. I love my granny's cooking because she never overdoes it or never underdoes it. And it's always really yummy.
I love coming to Granny's to have a meal with all my family.
And I like
Falling over.
eating all the food.
You're enjoying it, aren't you, darling? Look at Hobie, he's away.
My next recipe is a fantastic alternative to the Sunday roast, and always has them coming back for more.
It's a great family dish. It's aromatic. It's also spicy, but not too hot.
To feed 6, use 1 kilo of lamb neck fillet cut into small pieces. Coat with 2 tablespoons of ground cumin and 2 tablespoons of ground coriander.
Then just turn the meat in those spices.
Heat 2 tablespoons of oil and start browning the meat. With this much, it's best to do it in 2 batches.
Now just look at that, a gorgeous golden brown colour. Now that takes time, but keep a single layer in the bottom of the pan, keep turning it. That's it. Then I'm going to put a little more oil in there, only a little, just enough to stop it from catching the bottom.
Add 2 sliced onions and around a tablespoon of freshly grated ginger.
Give that a good stir. Now looking in the bottom of the pan there, you see that the onions have in fact cleaned all that lovely brown, crusty bit of flavour, and it's now on the onions. Now I'm going to add the other ingredients. First of all, the wine, 250 ml of white wine. Exactly.
Then 2 tablespoons of tomato puree and 1 of mild rose harissa paste. 2 tablespoons of runny honey. A 400-gram tin of chopped tomatoes. Season and add the zest of a whole lemon and the juice of half.
So there's the meat all beautifully brown, and if there's any of the little bit of juice in the bottom, that'll go in too. Give that a good stir. Gosh, doesn't that look good? Beautiful lamb and all those spices and tomato. On with the lid. So that goes in the oven at 140 fan for about 1.5 hours, just until it's tender. So here it is, straight out of the oven. It should be hot and bubbling. Ah, that's what I was hoping for. A gorgeous colour, looking really tempting. All I've got to do now is add the cannellini beans.
I'm using a 400-gram tin of beans rinsed.
And very often I add a couple more cans if everybody's starving. If the children are very young, you can just put baked beans in there. So there it is. You've got beautifully soft, tender meat. The onions tender. It just smells all spicy and aromatic, but there'll be a bit of a kick to it.
This dish is great to serve with rice or couscous, and I always finish mine with a good dollop of sour cream.
That is so good. Do you know, the sour cream really makes it, because it's a little spicy and a little bit on the hot side, and that cools it down. It's just lovely.
I've been baking with my granddaughters Abby and Grace ever since they were small. And this is a simple biscuit recipe with a great twist that I know they will love.
We're going to make a mixture that makes quite a lot of biscuits. We're going to divide the mixture in 3, and we're going to make almond biscuits and chocolate chip and lemon biscuits. So we've got a variety of biscuits, all from one mixture. So, shall we start off with the butter? How much have we got there?
175.
175 grams of softened butter. Then 175 grams of flour. That's it, no sieving either. And then 75 grams of caster sugar. And to give the biscuits a little bit of crunch, 75 grams of semolina.
Now mix it all together.
That looks about ready. As you sort of squeeze it, it comes together like a biscuit mixture. So Abby, you're going to get that together. So how long have we been baking together?
Well, I remember in the kitchen there's this one photo of me and Abby when we were about 4.
Exactly.
And we were making little cupcakes and we were putting the sweets on the top.
And you remember eating all those little bits, and far more important than making the cakes. That's come together really well. Now make it into a sausage shape and divide it into 3.
Can I make the almond ones, please?
There's your almond things.
Thank you. Can I make the chocolate ones, please?
I knew you were going to ask for chocolate, that's good.
Abby's chosen 50 grams of milk chocolate chips to mix into the dough.
You need to get it everywhere, because when you separate it into different biscuits, you don't want to have one with all the chocolate chips in and one with none of them in. So you have to get it everywhere.
Well, the person with all the chocolate chips will be quite lucky.
Grace is adding a teaspoon of almond extract and most of the 40 grams of flaked almonds to her dough.
Do you enjoy helping?
Yes,
Yeah,
really
it's
fun.
really fun.
What's the best part?
Knowing that you can eat it at the end. And also, the mixture's really nice to eat as well.
Do you like raw mixture?
Yeah.
Each mixture is divided into 20 even rounds. For the lemon biscuits, add the finely grated zest of 1 lemon to the dough.
Years ago, I used to work for the Dutch Dairy Bureau, and their favourite Dutch biscuit were botermoppen. And what you do is that you made a sausage, and then you took demerara sugar and sprinkled it on the table like this. Then all you do is you roll that in it So if you can imagine, if you cut slices from this, you'll get a lovely crunchy outside.
Wrap it in cling film and put it in the fridge to firm up. Put the rounds on baking trays lined with non-stick baking parchment. For the almond biscuits, gently press the balls flat and top with a few flaked almonds. Press the chocolate chip rounds evenly. Finally, slice the firm lemon biscuit dough into 20 rounds.
Would they last long in your household?
No way. Dad would eat them.
He's always poking around in the fridge. Wherever we try and hide them, he's always there.
Cook all the biscuits at 160 fan for 10 to 12 minutes until they're a lovely pale golden brown around the edges.
I'm going to leave you two in charge. Keep your eye on them.
Granny, we think they might be ready.
Oh, good. I'm coming. Let's have a look then.
They look ready.
You're absolutely right. There we are. And those are perfect too. Well done.
Once the biscuits cool, it's the bit that we've all been waiting for.
Come on, let's have a taste. Which would you like? Now, who's going to pass it to Granny? Because I can't reach that far. That's lovely. Now, I'm going for the lemon one.
They're really nice. Could I have another one?
My family have always loved my cooking, and there's nothing they like more than a delicious pudding. Especially my take on an old classic.
There's nothing more popular than lemon meringue pie, in my family anyway. It is so impressive. But I've got a cheats one. It's using a crumb crust and it's so simple to make.
For the crust, add 12 crushed digestives to melted butter.
I like a little sugar in that, and I'm going to use some demerara sugar, about a tablespoon. That's it. Then you just mix that together. It's also simple. I mean, some other crumb crusts I use ginger biscuits, but for lemon meringue pie, it has to be digestive.
Pour the mixture into a 23 centimetre, 8-inch flan dish.
And then just level it in the middle and work it round the sides. I really enjoy this crumb crust, and I find I make it so often because it's so easy. You know, I do think twice about if you've got to make a pastry, bake it blind, all takes time, but this is really very, very quick. There's my crumb crust, done, finished. Put it there, just ready to have the filling in.
Add 1 394-gram tin of full-fat condensed milk.
They used to be in tubes when I was a child, and you used to have this tube and take it out like toothpaste. It was absolutely delicious.
Add 3 egg yolks.
I'm just going to combine that for a moment, and then it gets this lovely colour.
Next, you'll need the zest and juice of 2 lemons.
You know, this is a real showstopper. Anything with meringue, my lot absolutely love. You know, we've often had it for a birthday pudge, you know, just putting sparklers in the top and walking in with it. It all makes it very, very special if it's a birthday. And so add the lemon juice, and you'll notice instantly it's beginning to get thick. Can you see? It's almost like magic. That's it. Just level it right into the edges like that.
Leave it in the fridge to set and start making the meringue. Whisk 3 egg whites on full speed until stiff. and then slowly add 175 grams of caster sugar.
I think that will just about be right. Now let's have a look at that. I want it to be shiny, standing up in peaks. That's a perfect meringue.
Once the pie has set, carefully spread the meringue over it.
And the aim is to cover all the crumb crust and the middle as well. So you have to put it on and just push it to the side. It's not easy. I find it best to go round in sort of blobs and then into the middle. So press it down. That's it. Now you can do little swirls all the way around. Make it the sort of same mountain in the middle. And I think that's far nicer than piping. I think it looks homemade. And I love making these little swirls and peaks. All right, stop playing with it, it's perfectly all right.
Cook at 190 fan for 15 to 20 minutes. Then set aside for at least half an hour before serving warm.
I think it looks very special, but I do warn you, the first slice is always difficult to get out. Have a little prayer and hope for the best. How does that look? I think it looks delicious. Oh, so good. I think everybody's going to enjoy that. Who's got room for my favourite pudding?
So there you have it.
Wow. Tom, you won't want any of this. No.
Recipes to bring your whole family together.
Is that meringue?
This is meringue.
Oh.
I hope you'll enjoy them as much as we do.
Atalanta, is it nice? What does it taste like?
Toffee.
I'm Mary Berry, and in this series I'll be celebrating the very best of my everyday cooking. Day-to-day cooking needn't be mundane. Even the simplest recipes can be a joy. I want to show you easy ways to transform dishes into something really special. From my recipes that stir fond memories.
Welcome home, Mary.
I'm here to stay. To my delicious ideas to feed the family. Not bad, is it?
Very, very good.
And my surprisingly easy showstoppers for when you want to show off. How about that then? In this programme, my everyday hearty and wholesome favourites. That is blissful. It is scrumptious. It's beautiful. I love time at home in the garden, tending to the vegetables, being with my dogs, and enjoying fresh air. And after an invigorating day, I'm ready for dishes bursting with goodness. Nothing beats a wholesome, hearty supper. I'm going to show you some tempting recipes that are really lovely to come home to. Gives you a great welcome. The ultimate bolognese, given my own special touch.
A gorgeous salad bursting with intense flavour. A scrumptious sea bass supper with added crunch. And a good wholesome pud full of natural sweetness. But first, my heartwarming soup with added crispy goodness. A hearty soup is a great everyday favourite, and I've got a wonderful idea that gives soup masses of extra flavour. First, celeriac. I just love it. It's similar to celery with a deliciously nutty overtone. I try to grow it at home. Ours is well behind. I brought some in. Don't laugh. It looks as though it's got hair growing on it. Mine certainly need another 2 months in the ground, well watered, before they'll get anywhere near that size. Remove the peel quickly so the flesh doesn't discolour. Then I'm going to cube it, rough cubes. That's it. What gives this soup depth is one of my favourite ingredients, pan-fried in butter. In the pan here I've got 6 rashers of pancetta. I've snipped it up into small pieces. It'll become crisp very quickly. Drain every bit of fat off that, pop it on there. Save the crisp pancetta to top the soup, but it's a good tip to hang on to the wonderful flavour from the fat so it comes through in the soup itself. In goes onion, butter and a cubed potato to give the soup its hearty texture. And then the crowning glory, that wonderful celeriac. You need about 750 ml of stock. Now the stock can be vegetable stock or it could be chicken stock. And of course pepper and salt. Turn the heat down and then simmer those vegetables until they're tender. It'll take 15 or 20 minutes. While that simmers away, I'll show you what gives this a delicious wholesome crunch. A different shaped crouton. So these are into little batons, as the chefs call them. These are fairly stale. Don't try and do it with fresh bread because it won't hold its shape. Toss them in olive oil and coat in poppy seeds. They give a very interesting finish. And for extra flavour, give them a sprinkle of parmesan and season them well. Then into the oven for 10 minutes, and you may need to give them a turn. An easy idea to spruce up a slice of bread. Well, to me, those look special, much more exciting than ordinary croutons. In the interest of science, I better just see if they're all right. You don't get much more crispy than that. I want the soup beautifully smooth, so I strain off the stock and puree the vegetables. That looks just the job. And then put that rich stock along with the puree back in the pan to get it piping hot. The smell of celeriac, I think, is lovely. And I'm going to add 2 or 3 tablespoonfuls of double cream. That just enriches it and makes it a really hearty, warming soup. It's like pure velvet. It's lovely. And for a hearty topping, my crunchy poppy seed croutons. Put them on in the last minute because you want them absolutely crispy, and that one went on without being asked. Some peppery watercress. Now, watercress is delicious with it, and also it brings out the colour. And that crisp pancetta. And you just need a little pinch on the top of each bowlful, and it'll add to the flavour. I think that's a very special, heartwarming soup. There's something wholesome and satisfying about homegrown food. It always seems to taste better. And my next recipe uses one of my favourite herbs from the garden to transform a fillet of sea bass.
I'm going to make it a little more hearty and robust by adding a crumb crust.
Start by melting 40 grams of butter.
So, I've got 60 grams of Japanese dried breadcrumbs. They're very, very crisp. You can do them yourself, but you need to dry them out in the oven first. So in they go, 60 grams.
For a bit of punch, finely grate the zest of a lemon.
I love the smell of lemon, and lemon goes really well with fish. That's it. Now you want to get that really coated with the butter.
Season with pepper and salt. And for me, what makes this dish is the mild aniseed tone of tarragon.
It smells so good. There's nothing like fresh tarragon. Don't be tempted unless you have to use dried tarragon. Just isn't the same.
Mix half the tarragon with the breadcrumbs. Now for my secret to ensure a crunchy, perfectly coated fish.
If you try and dip the fish into this, it doesn't really stick.
My trick is to lay the crumbs onto the tray first.
Then take the fish and put it skin side down on top of the crumbs. That's it. Then really press that down all the way so those crumbs stick. Then I'm going to put just a little seasoning on top. All these layers of seasoning really does help to add to the flavour.
Then spoon the rest of the breadcrumbs over the fillets. For that finishing touch, add a sprinkle of parmesan.
I think it's nice to do it slightly more chunkily as I have on the coarse grater. So that's ready for the oven, and you want to cook it at 180 fan for about 15 minutes.
While the fish cooks, I have a simple fragrant sauce to go with it. Creme fraiche, the rest of that tarragon, a dash of sugar and a squeeze of lemon.
And believe it or not, that's the sauce.
Just in time as well.
The top is a gorgeous golden brown. I think it looks really inviting. Serve it at once. I'm going to serve it with a little samphire. It has a lovely sort of salty flavour.
Samphire is becoming more and more popular. If you can't get it from your supermarket, your local fishmonger is worth a try.
So there it is, tarragon crusted sea bass, a really hearty way of serving one of my favourite fishes.
We Brits are lucky that we can produce so many things that we love to use every day. Honey is a perfect example. I've always dreamt of keeping bees, and I'm not alone. It's now one of Britain's fastest growing hobbies. Here in Hertfordshire, scientist Sue Carter has been keeping bees for 18 years. But first, very important that you don't forget your protection.
Right, here we are, Mary. Your suit. So we've got two parts to it. There's the trousers.
Right?
Okay, there we go, over the head. And then it's just like getting into a jumper.
Yeah, there we are. Gosh, I've got perfect vision. You can see everything that's going on, can't you?
Yeah, you think that the mesh is going to stop you seeing, but it doesn't at all.
Perfectly.
And the last thing is a pair of gloves.
Right, I feel kitted out. Right, we're all in.
Off we go.
I'll follow you.
If you don't have a big space like Sue, don't let that put you off. Beehives can be kept in smaller gardens. Just use the right precautions.
What do I have to do with this?
Help me by smoking the front of the entrance here. The smoke helps to calm the bees. They think they've got a forest fire coming and they feel sort of, and don't bother stinging you. We're going to take the roof off.
There's hundreds of them. How much honey does one bee produce in its lifetime?
Well, a bee has got a relatively short lifetime during summer. It's only about 6 weeks, and it will collect about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey.
Oh, gosh.
Now, this here is what we call a super. There's a box at the bottom which we call the brood box, and on top of that is a wire grid called a queen excluder, because we don't want the queen laying brood in here. This is purely for the honey stores.
But how many bees are in here?
In total in the hive there's probably 40 to 50,000.
40 to 50,000. But if you lose all these in 6 weeks, where are the next lot coming from?
Well, that's what the queen's doing down below. She's laying lots of eggs all of the time to replace the ones that we're losing. Somewhere in the region of 2,000 eggs a day.
She's a busy bee, isn't she?
She certainly is, yes.
Whilst the queen bee is laying eggs, the female workers around her are turning the collected nectar into honey. Sue is keen to show me the queen, but with thousands of bees, she's not easy to find.
No?
No, not there. She's not there either. Ah, I see her.
You see her, I don't. Come on, point her out to me.
She's here.
Oh, yes. She's certainly the centre of attraction. She's much longer bodied and sort of slightly broader stripes. There she is.
Beekeepers only collect honey from their hives twice a year, so you need to be patient if you're doing it at home.
OK, off you go. You should see the back of you. You're covered in bees.
So are you.
Am I? Oh,
We'll shake our suits off.
go back home, all of you.
Before I get to sample the freshest honey I've ever tasted, I've got the perfect idea for a hearty salad to really liven up the lunch table.
Salads have changed over the years, haven't they? I mean, there was the day when there was tomato, lettuce, and that really was what salads were. And now you have many more ingredients and more exciting dressings. And I can remember well when olive oil was only bought from the chemist shop in a bottle, and it was not used for cooking. And anyway, it tasted horrible.
This salad is full of exciting textures. To start, I've got mixed grains of red and white quinoa and bulgur wheat. All you do is bring them to the boil for a few minutes.
Already the grains are beginning to swell.
Turn off the heat and leave for about 20 minutes until all the liquid is absorbed. Onto the dressing, and I'm giving it a sharp kick.
The newest ingredient is this pomegranate molasses. Now, pomegranate molasses is sort of sweet and sour. It makes very good dressings. So often I use honey because I like that in a dressing, but this has the added sourness.
It's a great addition to the store cupboard, giving a fruity depth to all sorts of dishes. For my dressing, all it needs is olive oil, the zest and juice of a lemon, and a dash of sugar to offset the sharpness.
So there's my dressing, as easy as can be. The quinoa has had 20 minutes just to absorb the rest of that liquid.
Fresh herbs give a real lift to everyday cooking, making it vibrant and interesting.
Now, you're going to be surprised the amount of herbs that I use, but I want it to be bright, bright green.
For this, I want fresh mint, parsley, basil and chives.
Absolutely wonderful. And it makes all the difference to have a good knife. Gosh, they make a difference, don't they? Not only to the wonderful aroma, but they're adding to the colour.
The grains can take strong flavours, so I'm adding softened red onion, sun-blushed tomatoes and a little seasoning. And to finish it off, I love well-flavoured feta cheese.
This is good quality feta cheese, and it's nice just to crumble in little pieces, that you do with your fingers.
In goes my dressing, and a good tip is to wait before serving.
that a couple of hours so the flavour really gets through to the quinoa. That certainly is a far cry from some of the boring salads that I was brought up with. It is scrumptious, it's beautiful, and I love it.
Nothing beats a hearty supper when you've worked up an appetite. And my next recipe is my delicious version of one of our nation's go-to dishes.
We Brits cook bolognese more than any other meat recipe, so here goes.
Every good bolognese begins with the very important trinity of onion, celery and carrot.
So I'm just sort of sweating those off.
Keep on a high heat and stir to stop them sticking to the pan.
Next I'm going to add the meat, and I've got 500 grams of beef and 500 grams of pork. Having the two meats means you get a wonderful deep flavour, and it's what the Italians do. To begin with, the meat often sticks together. That's why I'm using 2 spatulas.
Still on a high heat, let the meat get beautifully browned. To give it some intensity, add 3 cloves of crushed garlic and 3 tablespoons of sun-dried tomato paste.
I'm going to judge it. I like sun-dried tomato paste. It's rich and flavoursome.
In goes 200 ml of good stock, a can of chopped tomatoes,
That helps to give a bit of texture.
and 500 grams of passata.
I'm going to give that a good stir and let it bubble up.
And then 3 tablespoons of fresh thyme.
And I almost forgot a very important ingredient, the wine. White or red, whatever you've got to hand. Though I really prefer to add white. There's never any left in our household. I might even have to open a bottle specially. 150 ml of wine. That's it, back in the fridge, and we'll enjoy it later.
Lastly, a few bay leaves and season well. Most people cook bolognese on the hob, but I have a good tip that will make the most tender, deeply flavoured bolognese you have ever tasted.
The total cooking time of this is 2 hours. I like to do it in the oven. It's a slow-cooked ragu bolognese sauce, and it really does bring out the flavour of all the ingredients. I do it at 140 fan.
After an hour in the oven, my secret is to make it even richer by adding double cream.
Don't worry, it doesn't curdle or do anything like that. It just enriches it. And what I want to end up with is a fairly thick mixture. So I'm putting it back in the oven without the lid on for the last hour, and it will gently simmer away.
The Italian way isn't to serve a robust meat sauce with a skinny pasta like spaghetti. For the perfect pairing, choose a thicker shape like pappardelle.
I like the idea of using a flat pasta because it picks up the sauce better and you get more of it. Allow 75 grams per head, a bit more if they're starving. I'd love to have Parmesan cheese with it. When I first began using Parmesan cheese, you had to have a special grater because it was so hard and so mature. And in fact, in Italy, they still mature it more than we do. But it does mean you can grate it more easily.
After 2 hours, the meat will have soaked up all those rich flavours and it'll melt in the mouth.
This is just what I wanted to happen. It's reduced, it's quite a thick mixture, and it's a perfect colour over the top. And another one. That's it. And then a little bit of parmesan, when you serve it, just gently sprinkled over the top. I can quite understand how bolognese is one of our great British everyday favourites. It's certainly one of mine.
Back in Hertfordshire, Sue is going to show me how to extract the honey we collected.
So, Sue, we've got these frames. How do we get the honey out of here?
You're going to take your knife and you're going to gently take this wax off the top.
So I'm going to shave off.
Yeah.
Rather like as though it was parmesan.
Yes.
Right.
The bees store the honey inside the honeycomb and seal it with wax to keep it fresh. Once the wax is off, we can separate the runny honey from the comb.
You're doing well.
Well, I'm quite used to cutting a Victoria sandwich in half.
See the honey oozing out. It's lovely.
That's fun to do. It's most satisfying, isn't it?
I have to say, you're doing a very good job. Most people, when they do it first time...
What do they do?
Well, they dig so much more into the comb.
Ah, but I'm not digging into the comb, because if I do, I'm taking that precious honey away. It's a lovely, sweet aroma. I cannot resist having just a little taste. It is.
And that's honey at its absolute best. It's fresh from the hive.
It just tastes flowery. Yeah. There's a true sort of floral flavour to that.
So next we put it into the extractor, in there.
And obviously we're going to spin it.
Yep. The next frame, I'm going to put it in the opposite side so that it balances it up. And then you go and turn this handle.
Right, OK. Do you know, it's as easy as spinning lettuce in a salad spinner. It's light as a feather. Yeah. As I'm doing it, I can smell the honey coming. Gorgeous smell.
The type of flowers the bees visit really changes the flavour, colour and aroma of the honey, so no crop is ever the same.
So, up on here now?
Now, I will manage the tap. If you manage the jar.
Well, will you stop it at the right time, please?
Absolutely, otherwise you might get sticky.
Oh, it looks absolutely wonderful.
It takes more than 20,000 busy bees to fill this one jar. And it's not just honey which they're useful for. They are important pollinators. 1/3 of the food we eat wouldn't be available if it wasn't for the bees.
I think that's about it. That's it. So there we are, pure liquid gold. And here we've got wonderful honey. It wasn't too complicated, and the bees have done all the work.
They have indeed, and I hope you've enjoyed your day beekeeping and it's encouraged you to perhaps take it up yourself.
I'm really tempted, and I'm going to grasp the nettle and have bees. I did enjoy my day with Sue learning all about honey, and I've come back with my little pot of gold.
And what better use for it than my wholesome fruit compote, full of natural goodness.
So for my rosy red fruit salad, I'm going to make a coulis from raspberries. I've got some quite nice raspberries here, and I'm going to use half of them as a coulis and half I'll put in the fruit compote.
Making a coulis couldn't be simpler. Use a blender or processor and add a good helping of icing sugar.
Nothing could be easier than that.
For a super smooth finish, push through a sieve because we don't want any pips.
I'm going to take the fruits and drop them in the coulis. It really gives a lovely flavour. It's the sort of thing, if I was having people in the evening, I would do in the afternoon. Then I'd put it back in the fridge to get really cold.
I like to use firm fruits to complement the coulis. Seedless grapes, ripe, juicy nectarines.
Give it a turn in the wonderful coulis.
And it's a good tip to stop the fruit turning brown.
Also, in this compote, I like big chunks of the fruit rather than itsy-bitsy little pieces. I have memories of a can when I was small, and it was called mixed fruit salad. And you'd no idea what the fruits were because they were all either yellow or orange and all mushed together. This is much more spectacular.
In goes the rest of the fruit, fresh strawberries, sharp blueberries, and lastly those lovely plump raspberries. Nothing goes better with a fruit compote than a hearty helping of yoghurt.
I've got a big pot of Greek-style yoghurt. That's the extra rich one and the very creamy one. And then the jewel in the crown, my wonderful golden honey. I've got it off. 2 generous spoons of this lovely honey. Look at that. That's it. Of course, honey, we're told, has great healing properties. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me, but I'm very happy to be healed with a nice quantity of honey in here. I think the two make a wonderful marriage. That is blissful. I can think of nothing else I would like more right now, except another dip. Don't tell a soul.
Next time, my everyday recipes to delight a happy gathering.
There we are.
Thank you.
It's a good recipe and great for a crowd.
Everyone loves pizza.